Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are putting the spotlight on this. This is from the new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe line by Mattel. We have the Sorceress, as she appears in the new CGI Netflix animated cartoon. Alright, so today is December 8th, 2021. I purchased this figure a couple of days ago at my local Walmart. I was kind of surprised to see it. I didn't realize this wave of action figures was already out at the stores. I couldn't say no to it. It looks great, and I really want to check this out. So yeah, we have the Sorceress here. As usual, I love the package design for the new Netflix cartoon figures. It's really eye-catching. I love how they have the character illustration in the upper left. So you see Grayskull in the upper right. The blue color scheme looks fantastic, especially with this really cool shaped bubble. I love the logo, the masthead at the top. The character features a power attack. Just like the other figures, it looks like she might have a spring-loaded waist. And the figure looks fantastic. We see the Sorceress here with her staff, her wings in the back. On the back of the box, details the power attack where you just kind of twist at the waist, and then she kind of swivels around. It looks like her wings might be detachable. Also available in this line, for this wave specifically, there's the Orko figure, and then we're getting another release of He-Man. I believe this is still the same as the standard release. Lots and lots of text here, and I say this with every action figure video I do. So with every review, I always complain that on the back of the box, it bothers me that that they don't always list like a description of the universe or of the characters. I'd love if they gave you a bio on the Sorceress, but they don't. So with that being said, I actually do have a bio straight from the horse's mouth. So these 2 pages here, it's a great description and bio on both Teela and the Sorceress. Spoiler alert, the Sorceress here is actually Teela. So this came out recently, this book. It actually came out yesterday. I found it on Amazon. It's the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Heroes and Villains Guidebook. Initially, I bought the digital version of the book so I could just download it to my Fire tablet and just read it like that. But then, after I was thumbing through the book, I actually fell in love with it. It's a great book. It's the composition, the layout, everything about it. It's top notch. The production's really high. They give you a lot of meaty information on the characters, which is crazy. And I like the digital version of the book so much, I actually decided I was just gonna buy the physical copy of the book. So I ordered that on Amazon. And unfortunately, it might be lost in the mail because I was supposed to receive it today. Or yesterday, actually. I was supposed to receive it yesterday, same day delivery. It never came, and the order's just running late. I'm not sure if it's lost or what, but fingers crossed. I do want the physical copy of this book. It's awesome. Even if you're not a fan of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the new CGI cartoon on Netflix, I think the book is just a fun read. It's just really impressive, and in some ways I'm kind of jealous because it seems like that book is the way it's laid out and the amount of detail and information they give you on each character. It's unfortunate that they didn't do that for Revelation or even like the Origins line. But the new Netflix cartoon is, they're trying to pull in a new generation of He-Man fans, and I can see why they're going to, through all those lengths. But yeah, if you get a chance, check out that book. It's called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Heroes and Villains Guidebook. It's awesome. Alright, so real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about the Sorceress. I'm not going to read all of this. So essentially, I don't want to go into this too much because if you haven't watched the cartoon yet, I don't want to, spoil, the cartoon. But essentially, this iteration of the Sorceress is actually Teela right here. And then here's Teela as she is in the complete Sorceress garb. And as you can see here, the figure does a pretty good job of recreating this. So, real quick, the Sorceress. As Sorceress, Tila is cloaked in falcon garb, glowing with the magic of the cosmos, and her power staff gives her tremendous mystical powers. Now she no longer needs to use her hands to cast magic, but with a single thought, Sorceress can summon, conjure, transfigure, and more. Her cosmic falcon wings allow her to fly and teleport herself and others. With her Master Strike, the Wings of Zoar, Sorceress can summon the great bird of the cosmos, the magical falcon Zoar, that swoops through the battlefield to sweep away all foes. So for you old school fans, you'll remember Zoar was actually a toy we got in the 80s also. I don't want to read anything else because I don't want to accidentally spoil it. But some brief stats here. So the name of the base mode, Tila. Her master form, she's a sorceress. Her title, Master of Magic. Her power weapons, the Staff of Magic. Her Master Strike is the Wings of Zoar. Her power symbol, the power color. And her nemesis is Evelyn, the Dark Master of Witchcraft. Okay, so regardless of whether or not you're into the new cartoon, I'm just gonna take a look at this action figure. First off, I think it looks fantastic. The one thing I do like about this version of the Sorceress, this is not the Sorceress I grew up on. I'm a child of the 80s. I was actually around when He-Man in the Masters of the Universe first debuted. But I'm open to the new reinterpretation, the reboot, if you will, of the characters and into this modern iteration. Mattel, they're still good about honoring the OG fans. We have the Origins line, we have Revelation. So I can appreciate the fact that, they're still catering to us, but at the same time, they want to win over a new, younger generations of fans. I've seen that with other toy lines like G.I. Joe. I've seen that done with Transformers. It's not always successful. Sometimes it is. In this case, I'm open to the new interpretations of these characters, and I love this character design. When I first saw it, especially with the toy, the first thing it reminds me of the X-Men character Storm, but Storm in her white outfit, especially with the headpiece, the tiara, and her hair pulled back. And I don't know, there's something about this figure. It just looks cool. It reminds me of Storm, and it's a nice reinterpretation of the character. It doesn't erase the one I already love. This just gives me a new version of her. So yeah, let's check this out. Alright, so first impressions of the figure while she's still in the tray. It looks fantastic. It's fantastic. It looks like a budget figure for which it is. I believe I paid maybe I think $9.99 for this at Walmart. Here's her Staff of Zoar. Looks awesome. Her armored headpiece. And we have the Sorceress. And let's take a look at her. So her wings do come off. It's kind of this translucent purple plastic with some glitter inside of it. So it has a very celestial feel to it. Her armored headpiece. It's very ethereal-like. Almost kind of looks like a very light translucent blue. And here's her staff. Nothing crazy. It looks... Now, the amount of detail on this, and even the engineering, this almost feels like an accessory if you wanted to. You could carry it over into your Masters of the Universe Origins line. I believe the aesthetic is very similar. The scale also. So if you want to give, the Sorceress, or even Tila in the Origins line and a new weapon, I think this would be appropriate. It looks really cool. I love the detail and the sculpting along the handle. The Sorceress herself, fantastic looking figure. She's pretty small. I wish I should have brought the other figures I have with me, but I don't. They're toted up in a box right now. But yeah, let me get a ruler so you could get an idea of how tall this figure is. All right, so this figure is roughly about 5 1/4. So you're looking at a 5 1/4 inch figure. The sculpting is very basic. You know, it's based off of a CGI model, so it's not super hyper detailed. The sculpting's a little soft, but the sculpting around the eyes and face is nice and crisp and clean. Same with the paint application. In terms of the articulation, her head, she has a very long neck, so her head rotates. Now her long hair here is going to be a hindrance. It's not going to allow for you to like look up all that much, but you could look to the side, but then again, you know, the hair is getting in the way. Her arms could rotate, and that's it. They don't go out. There's no bicep cut, no bicep swivel. Fortunately, she does have wrist articulation, so you can rotate her wrists. And it's nice, too, because she had her... So her outfit's white, but it's a much more pearlescent white, so it kind of has like a nice sheen and reflective quality to it. And it kind of hides the seam a little well. So not that it's seamless, but the seam doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. So she has wrist articulation. If you look here, there's a cut along her waist, so she can rotate her waist. And there's her power attack. She has a spring-loaded waist, which is pretty powerful. It has a lot of snap to it. So yeah, her spring-loaded waist is there. In terms of her leg articulation, she could kick up. Not very high, just because she seems to hit the upper part of her leg right there. Could she kick out? I believe she could kick out a little, but it looks like her hip is ball jointed, but because of the way it's shaped, it doesn't allow for a lot of movement kicking out. So I wouldn't suggest forcing it out beyond what it's doing right here. So yeah, budget figure, budget articulation. The paint application is decent. It's a little sloppy on this side where the stripes are. On the right side here, it's nice and clean, but up towards here, it's a little blotchy, but it's not that bad. I do like the transition of the hair color from here. It goes from a dark purple, blue, and it kind of transitions, and you get a nice, somewhat subtle gradation. So it transitions to the white. So for her wings, there's a socket here. There's a peg on her back. And then it's pretty simple, you know, self-explanatory. You just plug it into place. And there you go. For her armored helm, it just goes above her like, is this upside down? Alright, make sure I'm doing this right. Where's the okay. Yeah, alright, so I had it upside down. So this part here, where you see the markings, that's the front of her face. So this goes over it, like so. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's pull out the image from the cartoon. So, I mean, it's a nice interpretation of it. It's not 100% perfect, but for a $9 figure, it kind of works. You can kind of see her helm there, the wings, the staff. The staff doesn't have as many paint applications as it does in the show, but that's alright. It's forgivable. Yeah, decent, solid figure for $9. Alright, so let's talk numbers here. If I had to rate this figure numerically on a scale of 1 to 10, my first thought is a 7. And that's not a bad 7. It's just a very average figure. If you're into the new animated series, you know, I think this is a must-buy. Especially since, you know, you know, for a while, the only figures we were seeing are like this He-Man and Skeletor. It's nice that we're finally getting some other characters from the show. You know, so if you have He-Man, if you have Man-at-Arms, it's nice to have Sorceress. I'm not sure if there's a Teela figure on the horizon or not. I would like to see one, but for, you know, just getting the Sorceress figure like this, it's pretty cool. You know, like, I'd love to get a figure of Teela, you know, just to complement, you know, this look here. But, you know, alas, I'm not sure if we're getting that anytime soon, or, you know, for all I know, maybe there is one and it's out, and I just don't know it. So yeah, I think this is a decent figure. You know, it's not a high 7, it's not a low 7. It's just a very solid figure. So yeah, if you're a fan of the show, I think it's worth the purchase. If you have little ones who are into Masters of the Universe, I think the cartoons is worth checking out for them. You know, they're not going to be married to the original fiction like, you know, us older fans are, so I think they're a little bit more open-minded. And it seems like it's aimed at a much more younger generation, you know, especially the video game generation, especially with the character designs and the costumes and, like, just the presentation of the show. You know, feels very... In some ways, you know, every now and then when I see clips of it or I'm checking it out, so much of it just reminds me of, like, you know, like a video game, like a role-playing game or a JRPG or something. Especially the animation. The animation is very fast and very bold and colorful, and I kind of do like the aesthetic of the character designs a lot. So yeah, let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, take care of yourself, be safe, and most importantly, be happy. Alright, I'll talk to you later.